Hello, folks. I am back with another firearms review, and this time it's going to be on the Wesson TCP. That stands for Tactical Commander Pistol. And I'm going to get this box set so you will see what's inside and we'll talk about it. Okay, I'm going to show clear on this so you'll know that I have a safe firearm. And as you see here, there's nothing in the chamber and it is clear. Like I said, this is the Wesson TCP. It is in a commander length size, but I'll talk with you about the commander length size in a moment. It comes with two magazines. This is the two Wesson magazines. And I got a Wilson Combat magazine, and I'll talk with you about the magazines in a moment. It is in its duty coat finish. The duty coat finish is supposed to be a very durable finish. There have been reports from other YouTubers that there have been rusting issues with the duty coat finish, but knock on wood, I own three Wessons and I have not had that issue. But you will have to refer to their videos if they're about the finishes. I believe it was Beretta 9mm USA, and another YouTuber had some issues uh, with the finish that they had. But regarding this one, this is going to be uh, made from a forged aluminum frame here. It's forged aluminum. It has a G10 grips, which I really like. I like the way the angle of these grips come, because if you could see that it comes like it goes up and then it goes flat and then it goes down. So it has that unusual type of the way it's set. So it does give you a type of let's say like a palm swell, because it does come up and then flattens and it comes down. So you get a good purchase on this firearm. The other features on this is uh, a total. Well, let's say the overall length is going to be 6 point correction. It's going to be 7.64 inches. The barrel length is going to be 4 inches, and the barrel is what they call a bull barrel. And a lot of people are liking these bull barrels lately on particular firearms, particularly 1911s, and even some other companies like CZ has the bull shadow with a bull barrel. So it adds for a positive lockup in the front with the as the slide comes up. It adds that extra weight. It also helps with a decent lockup, and a lot of people believe it aids in accuracy. The other portion is the height. The height is 5.6 inches with a width of 1.25 inches. The weight is 32 ounces, so it's not bad. It's not a bad weight at all. I believe a Glock 19 is roughly close to this weight, if I'm correct. One of the other interesting things is this is where it's different from other 1911s. Is the old schoolers like what some of them like on the Wiley clap, the Colt Wiley claps. They have a bead or brass front sight, and I'm going to try to focus it in right here. That bead or brass sight. Some people like that, some people don't. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And you do have a U-notch back rear sight that's also serrated to help with glare. Uh, Furthermore, it does have on the front checkering and rear mainspring housing 25 line per inch checkering here, and also in the front, which gives a good purchase. As you see, it does have a magwell that's with it, so it's it aids for reloading it, which most people know. Uh, it's kind of funny how this firearm is made. It's made with these kind of a blocky slant or like a pentagon type look. Now, if you notice when I was showing you on the G10 grips, it kind of has like this. It goes up and it goes flat and then it goes down, and that's kind of like the theme of this firearm. If you look here, it's not like your typical 1911s where it's rounded up top here. I mean, I know Sig Sauer makes some squared off versions of their 1911s. I think that's to be a little different, but this is a little unique. It's flat on the side here. Uh, it goes into a little bit of a slant here. It goes to a flat top here, which is serrated uh, for glare when you want to fire with this particular firearm. So it reduces glare if you're outside. And then it has the flat slant here. This also goes toward the front for holstering. It's kind of like it goes flat here and then it goes flat down here. And of course, the front is flat. And it does the same thing all the way around. It's pretty unique how they are keeping with a particular theme with this firearm. Even the safety looks kind of like it has that theme going on where it's kind of like squared off and flat. Uh, and most noticeably, the skeletonized trigger has that whole theme where it's kind of got that flat pentagonish type look, and it's all around the firearm on this, and that's one of the reasons why I got this firearm, because I like to be a little different, have a from sometimes traditional things, and if you look at that, that theme is carried out with the skeletonized trigger. I love this trigger, by the way. This is a flat trigger, and it has its own little skeletonized way inside here. Um, Another thing I've really noticed about this is when I was firing this, as you see here, everybody knows there's a Pic Rail right here. But if you notice real closely, the bottom of this where the Pic Rail is, where you would put your uh, any type of device on here, notice how it extends a little further. Each manufacturer makes their Pic Rails different or prioritize rails, but notice how this goes this far. Now, why is that important to me and why am I bringing it up? So when I was shooting the firearm, it gave me a place to rest my thumb. So on my support thumb. So I really didn't pay attention to that before and never noticed it on any of my other firearms that had any other of my 1911s that had Pic Rails also. I've never noticed that I could just put my thumb here and rest it here. It serves like a pad, if you will. So it aids as a rest. So that's the first thing I noticed when I started shooting it. Uh, and I just to bring a comparison in with these two with this firearm. This is my Dan Wesson Valor, and I just want you to see the difference of how the top slide is. And if you look at where I was telling you how it looks like it's octagonish on the top, and the Valor right here has that more traditional slide look. Now, one of the other things, if you notice both of the sighting systems on here, a lot of people like the sights where you can rack off a belt. Now, I did mention to you that this does have a bead sight. Now, some people are not keen with the bead sights because they would say, oh, they prefer night sights or whatnot. It doesn't bother me either way. I've trained previously with other firearms before there were night sights. And before there were night sights, we learned how to shoot in the dark, uh, just using point shooting. So it didn't matter if I had the bead sight here or not, even though the night sights would have been a plus. But if you look at this one, the Valor has like the figure eight look on here. If I can focus in for you, it has that figure eight look. Sorry for the camera, but you notice the front sight here is on top of the sight back here, the rear sight right there, and they're both night sights. I kind of would have wanted that on this particular sight setup because I shoot very well with this sight, and I really like these sights on the Valor here. But this sighting system is not bad at all either. You just get used to the bead being up front, and you just point and shoot, and you have your blacked out rear, and you're all set to go with this firearm. Uh, the trigger pull is anywhere between 4.5 and 5 pounds. It's not a bad pull at all. As you see here, you pull that, it reaches the wall right here. So this is adjustable trigger. I can do what I want with that later and just pull just like that. And then racking the slide and come back. That's your reset, that short. And you pull again. Here's your reset. Very short reset right there. What the thing about this is, I love flat triggers because I can shoot very well with them. I shot very fast with this particular firearm. I'm not saying that I'm super fast. I only shoot in 3 shot bursts. That's the way I was trained. I don't try to mag dump. I just do 3 shots, pretty quick on target point shooting, and then another three shots. So, and this being a 9mm makes it all the easier. You don't have to worry about the excessive recoil like you do have on a 45. And one of the reasons why I chose this is I wanted to find something with a little bit of lighter recoil as well as cheaper ammo because, yeah, 45 ammo, as much as I like the cartridge, it's my favorite cartridge, it does get expensive. As I said before, does have a bull barrel. Now, there's something I just noticed when I was looking at it. Look how it's flat here. It has that theme right here. It kind of like slants down. Like some of the firearms out today, they have that little slant at the nose. The nose looks pretty good. And as you see here, it is what I'm trying to say is the recoil system is that like some of the 4-inch or 3-inch firearms that requires a tool that you would stick either a paper clip and then you'll break it down like a normal 1911. The paper clip will hold the tension on the spring so you can easily break it down. A lot of people don't like that feature. They prefer either the old school plug, or they prefer either maybe a different setup to break these down. But I'm used to it, so it's not going to affect me one way or another. Let me get to how I was shooting with this, but before I get to that, Dan Wesson, like I said, sends you 2 magazines, and I had no malfunctions, but the slide wouldn't lock back, and I thought it was me, and I was checking my thumb position to see if I was holding the slide release, and then I figured it was something else. I thought it was my particular fault at that point. Then I thought maybe the other issue was that it could have been lack of blowback on that range ammo that I was using. After the first box of 50 rounds with these Dan Wesson magazines, like I said, it only happened with the Dan Wesson magazines. It didn't happen with the Wilson Combats. So after 50 rounds, after it didn't lock back maybe like 5 times, it started locking back. I don't know if the magazines had to get adjusted or break in or whatever the case may be. All my other magazines, whether it was the Wilson Combat or my other magazines from my SIGs, they worked perfectly. But this one, it didn't lock back 5 times, and afterwards, I had no issues. I had no issues with these magazines at all. In fact, I put the Wilson Combats aside, and these worked flawless for roughly 200 rounds. So, and then I mixed them up between 200 and 400 rounds. So, other than that, the magazines worked great after that. I didn't know if that was some type of break-in. I don't know what to tell you, but all in all, there were no jams with this firearm. No nothing, and it is very accurate. Let me just show you some targets. In the first set of shots, I was trying to figure out how to use the sight, the bead sight with the U-notch. It's the first time I ever used a sight system with the U-notch. So I was trying to figure out where my shot placement was going to be. And for some reason, my first two shots, I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to do a 6 o'clock hold, and I ended up way down here. And then I'm just working on shooting, and I got a few right dead center. And then I got distracted with the slide not locking back. Here I was up a little bit, and this is all, by the way, 7 to 10 yards. So I'm just getting a feel for where I should shoot at this point. Then I think I got a little bit dead on. Again, sending the target down to 10 to 15 yards. My first shots were right here, these two right here. And then I shot a little bit too high, and then I just tried to center it out. So I just kept shooting at different paces, kind of rapid with, my 3-shot burst, then stop, and then just trying to do targeting. So I would say this firearm is pretty accurate if you ask me. The firearm is definitely better than I am, and that goes with pretty much without saying. But yes, this is a very good firearm. I really like it, and like I said, I wanted a 9mm 1911, and I do have two others, and you will be seeing a versus video between this and the KHX that I have that's similar in size to this. This is like I said, a 4-inch barrel. On the most standard commander sizes are usually 4.25, but if you look at it right here, you'll see, if I line it up correctly, you'll see that the barrels is slightly a little longer. So I'm going to put this one up against the KHX, the Kimber KHX. I think it has that 4.2-inch barrel, so see how that goes. Other than that, I'm a huge fan of Dan Wesson 1911s. They're my new favorite 1911 company. They're definitely my favorite 1911 company. So outside of that, I hope you like this this review on this. Any questions? Feel free to send a message. Subscribe. Happy shooting. Stay safe. #2A.